Hello everyone, my name is Frikki Walker and I have adjudicated a few times now at the Edinburgh Competition Festival. I'm very pleased to have been invited to talk to you today about my musical journey. Just to introduce myself, I'm a choral conductor, singer, organist and teacher with a particular interest in young voices. I'm the Director of Music at St Mary's Cathedral in Glasgow, and as well as conducting various choirs in Glasgow and Edinburgh, I'm on the staff of the RSNO, NICOS, the Royal School of Church Music, and I also teach part-time in the High School of Glasgow, where much of my job is accompanying and coaching young singers and training some of the school's many choirs. I've been sent a list of questions, which I will endeavour to answer as though I'm being interviewed. First one is about how I got into music and who or what inspired or motivated me to become a musician. Well, do you know, I can't ever remember not wanting to be a musician. It's pretty much the only thing I can do. My dad was a professional jazz double bass player, and my mum, although not a musician, absolutely loved all kinds of music. So there's always music in the house. My brothers too all played instruments, and latterly my dad retrained as a teacher of English and music, and he would try out his lessons on us all. We all went to a school in Southport where we lived that was attached to a church that had and still has a thriving and excellent choral tradition, and we all ended up in the choir. And then when my voice started to change, I didn't want to leave. All my pals were there, so I took up the organ. Experiencing so much high quality music from so many different genres at such a young age just immersed me in the whole world of music. The choir was fabulous. We sang in public 3 times a week and rehearsed appropriately. And we also sang all the major choral works, sometimes in tandem with a local choral society. There were also regular orchestral, chamber music and solo concerts available to us in Southport and in nearby Liverpool and Manchester, so we were very lucky. But if I was to cite a person, it would be the organist and choir master there at our church, David Williams, his name was, who was a very gifted musician and a natural and empowering teacher. He taught me how to practice, but most importantly, how to listen. Second question I've been asked, in fact I'm going to combine 2 questions because I've been asked about tips on good practice and how to prepare a performance and what happens if you make a mistake and how do you deal with nerves. That's all wrapped up in the same thing in my book. Well, there's no magic wand to wave for practice. The age-old methods take some beating. Practice regularly, a little and often is better than lots of panic practice just before your lesson or your performance. Break everything down into small chunks, don't just plough through. Practice slowly. Even Bach said as long as the right fingers are on the right notes at the right time, it doesn't matter how slowly or fast you go. Start by practicing the most difficult sections. Don't always start at the beginning. Identify the bit that you can't do and start by practicing that. Don't just plough through and play through. Singers particularly, make sure you warm up properly, but I think that goes for all instrumentalists. But again, singers, rehearse the text, reading the text. Recite the poem to an audience or family members or even your pet dog, anyone who will listen. And make sure you can communicate the meaning of that text by speaking it. You will then have much more chance of communicating it when you sing it. Be in a room with no distractions. This is my haven. I'm in my music room and nobody's allowed in when I'm working in here. Turn your phone off. Not on silent. Turn it off. In this technological age, we're so glued to our devices. I'm as guilty as any. How many of you play a game or text your pals while you're doing something else? While you're doing your homework, while you're reading a book, or even while you're watching a movie or TV? We multi-screen all the time. To be able to practice efficiently, you need to be able to focus entirely on the one thing. No phone, no devices, just you and your instrument. If you're reading your music from a device, turn all your notifications off so nothing is pinging at you while you practice. and always have a bottle of water or a glass of water with you. The best preparation for a performance is to have practiced sufficiently and consistently so you're feeling confident. A couple of tips though before you go on. These work for me, they might not work for you, but they work for me. Breathing deeply and calmly. Take a few seconds to breathe in and a few more seconds to breathe out. It just calms your heart rate and your oxygen intake. Oxygen is your friend. Shake yourself loose to relieve your tension. Just jump about and sugar yourselves about, because tension is your enemy. Drink water. Water is your fuel. But daft as it sounds, don't forget to go to the loo before you go on. Build your confidence by imagining yourself performing brilliantly in a huge concert hall and getting a huge round of applause. Everything that possibly might have been a risky thing, might have gone wrong, goes right. Everything goes right and the audience roars into applause. Imagine that and give yourself confidence by imagining that scenario. Confidence is your propulsion. Think through your music while you're sitting waiting, thinking through your music that you're going to play or sing, just with or without the music. Score, in front of you. Actively remove any distracting thoughts from your mind. Focus on the music and the music alone. We're so busy nowadays where, did I put the cat out? Did I leave the kettle on? Have I done my homework? Have I done blah, 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 blah. Get rid of all those voices, because while you are in that performance, you can't do anything about anything else anyway. So why not just focus on the music? And I know that's hard, but when you're performing, nothing else matters. Nothing. And as I say, you can't do anything about anything else anyway, so you might as well focus on doing your best with the performance. Remember, you're bringing joy to your performance. Joy to your audience. Enjoy your playing or singing so that your audience can enjoy it too. If you don't enjoy it, they won't enjoy it. Once the performance is underway, keep those distracted thoughts at bay. Keep concentrating all the way. If you make a wee slip, don't be distracted. Don't tell yourself off. It's not worth it. Just move on and keep enjoying the performance. Chances are, not many, if anybody, will have noticed your slip anyway. If it's just a wee slip, it always feels like a lasting catastrophe at the time, but it's often just a tiny blip. And I'd rather hear a spirited, communicative performance with the odd slip than a technically brilliant one that has no soul. Afterwards, it's often useful to analyse why that thing occurred, so you can mend it for next time. Was it concentration slip, or is it a technical thing that you need to fix? But don't dwell on that. Remember too all the parts you played really well. One of my organist friends, who's a brilliant organist, I have to tell him off every time he comes off, whether it's after a service or a recital or whatever, because he goes, "Oh, sorry about that note in bar 347, I don't know what happened." And he'll beat himself up over it for ages. So that's just no good. That's just not a good way to come off. I just tell him stuff like, "Don't worry, I enjoyed the other 387,642 notes you got right, and your performance was thrilling." So don't let tiny little blip spoil your enjoyment of a performance. So balance that scrutiny with positivism, and your performance will be sorted for next time. What are the benefits of playing in a festival? Many. Music is for sharing. Every performance is valuable for the giver and the receiver. Festivals offer you that platform to an audience you might not otherwise be able to reach, and often in a beautiful hall or church you might not otherwise have had a chance to perform in. Having deadlines always makes us prepare and polish. It's always a solid incentive. We never really get that final polish till we know we've got to do it in public or to somebody. And a festival affords us the opportunity to hear other performers that we might not otherwise have the chance to hear, and to meet like-minded people with whom we can discuss our problems and share our enthusiasms. I would also hope that the opportunity to hear what the adjudicators, who are always experienced performers and teachers, might say about your performance, and the advice and encouragement they might proffer would be of benefit. Getting a good mark and perhaps a placing in a class can also be very encouraging, but to me that's not really what it's about. To me, a festival is exactly that, a celebration of everyone's achievements and an opportunity to share your performances, enthusiasm and your love for the music making that you do. I've now sung, played, accompanied, conducted and adjudicated at countless festivals, and it is that joy of sharing that I love the most. I'm being asked what I'm looking for when I'm adjudicating and how is it different from teaching. Well, adjudicating is very different from teaching because it's a one-off. We don't get the experience, get to experience any development that might happen from what we've said. We just have to hope that what we say is helpful and useful. We don't always have the opportunity to chase it up. But what am I looking for? Well, the same as any adjudicator. Technical fluency, stylistic appropriate performance, dynamic control and expression, musical phrasing, presentation, very important, how you are dressed and how you come on and off the platform. Walk on with confidence, walk off with confidence, dress smartly, makes you feel more confident and makes it feel like an occasion apart from anything else. And apart from anything else, it is respectful to your audience to be smartly dressed. For singers and choirs specifically, as that's my specialism, intonation and diction. If we can't hear the text, there's kind of no point because the text was there first. Songs are just music put onto text. Age-appropriate repertoire. I don't want to hear a 9-year-old girl sing an adult song, and neither do I want to hear a mature adult singing a children's song. Communication is the most important thing. Eyes, words, always try and sing from memory so there's no barrier between you and the audience. We've not got the music in between you. Look them in the eye. Show us every emotion in the song in your eyes and your face. This is where it all happens and this is what we need to be drawn into. The technical stuff has to be there, but I want to be drawn into the performance and the added qualities of soul, emotion and communication are the key to that special performance. On that subject, just to finish, I will quickly tell you a story of a singing class I adjudicated. I won't say where, and I actually don't remember the song, but it was a music theatre song, and this young singer, she was perhaps 15 or 16, was singing a beautiful, hauntingly sad song. She had a warm mezzo voice, well suited to the song, and she was singing with passion and line and everything. But the added thing that made me award her the top mark in the class was that about halfway through, a little tear began trickling down her face. And I thought, oh my goodness, she's so wrapped up in this song. She's getting all emotional, and I was welling up myself, and I could hear the audience going along with that too. And I saw hankies and tissues, and I heard stifled sniffs. Anyway, in my adjudication, I eulogized about her emotional depth and level of communication and blah, blah, blah. So after the class, I sought her out to congratulate her personally, whereupon she informed me with a big smile that although she was very touched and encouraged by my kind comments, the actual reason there were tears streaming down her face was that it was the first time she had performed in her new contact lenses and they were irritating her eyes. I was duped. Nothing's ever quite what it seems, is it? Anyway, I hope this little talk has been some interest to you, and I look forward to seeing you all in person at some time soon. Meanwhile, stay brave and stay safe in this very challenging time. There is light at the end of the tunnel and the train is moving in the right direction. We just have to keep practicing, keep ourselves motivated, keep achieving and keep happy. I look forward to seeing you all soon. My best wishes to you all. Thanks for listening. Goodbye.
Hi, today I'm going to be singing Naughty from Matilda the Musical by Tim Minchin. Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch a pail of water. So they say the subsequent fall is inevitable. They never stood a chance, they were written that way, innocent victims of their story. Like Romeo and Juliet, 'twas written in the stars before they even met, that love and fate and a touch of stupidity would rob them of the hope of living happily. The endings are often a little bit gory. I wonder why they didn't just change their story. We're told we have to do what we're told, but surely sometimes you have to be a little bit naughty. Just because you find that life's not fair, it doesn't mean that you just have to grin and bear it. Even if you put it on your tin and wear it, nothing will change. Even if you're little, you can do a lot. You mustn't let a little thing like little stop you. If you sit around and let them get on top, you might as well be saying you think that it's okay, and that's not right. Cinderella in the cellar didn't have to do much as far as I could see. Her godmother was 2/3 fairy. Suddenly her lot was a lot less scary. But what if you haven't got a fairy to fix it? Sometimes you have to make a little bit of mischief. Just because you find that life's not fair, it doesn't mean that you just have to grin and bear it. If you always take it on the chin and wear it, nothing will change. Even if you're little, you can do a lot. You mustn't let a little thing like little stop you. If you sit around and let them get on top, you might as well be saying you think that it's okay, and that's not right. And if it's not right, you have to put it right. In the slip of a boat, there's a tiny revolt, the seed of a war in the creak of a floorboard. A storm can begin with a flap of a wing. The tiniest mind packs the mightiest every day. Starts with a tick of a clock, all escapes. Start with a click of a lock. If you're stuck in your story and want to get out, you don't have to cry, you don't have to shout, 'cause if you're little, you can do a lot. You mustn't let a little thing like little stop you. If you sit around and let them get on top, you won't change a thing. Just because you find that life's not fair, it doesn't mean that you just have to grin and bear it. If you always take it on the chin and wear it, you might as well be saying you think that it's okay, and that's not right. And if it's not right, you have to put it right. But nobody else is gonna put it right for me. Nobody but me is gonna change my story. Sometimes you have to be a little bit naughty.
Sapevoli kan måta, dove alla coda, cosa I bene mal così, di sapeli maliziente, che innamoravano gli amanti, fingi risa, fingi piante, inventai bei perché. Fingi risa, fingi piante, inventai bei perché. Dengan mametto t'avete accetto, con le pupille balla con mille. Das bei mir tut, is je meglio brutti, sapi nascondersi senza confrontarsi. Senza mentir, soi volo faccio piti. E qual regina colpo soi volo faccio piti. Paccabian gusto di tal dottrina viva de spina che sosevi. In un momento d'aver d'accento con le pupille pallaconili das bimbi tutti insieme io brutti sape nascondersi senza confondersi senza rossire sape mentire e qual regina dall'atto solo colpo soi voglio farsi ubbidire e qual regina colpo soi voglio farsi ubbidire e qual regina dall'atto sogno colpo soi voglio e voglio gusto di tal dottrina, viva de spina che s'asevi, viva de spina che s'asevi, viva de spina che s'asevi, che s'asevi, che s'asevi.
Jouez au bois, résonnez, musez.
You know